Tshepo Kgadima, CEO of LontohCoal. Many congratulations on entry to the World Finance 100.
Well, thank you very much. It's a big morale booster for our team at LontohCoal, our geologists, our engineers who have been working tirelessly to ensure that we get the reserves of coal right across the Southern Africa region, as well as the engineers who are ensuring, mining engineers who are ensuring that we are able to mine them and be able to get them to the market. And indeed, this will go a long way to encouraging them.
LontohCoal is at a very exciting stage of its development, but how did we get here? What were the key stages?
Well, the company is 3 years old now, and this is after 2 years of doing a lot of research to really say, if there was to be a resource company, what sector would it be in? And that really followed looking at the industrialization of particularly Asia as well as South Africa, Southern Africa, I could say that. And then we found that coal still is a sustainable energy source on the long term. And it is a public company owned to date by 175 shareholders, largely from South Africa. And this range from institutional to just ordinary people, be it teachers and just normal working people that participated in the formation of the company by putting up the investment money in the company. And we focus really in three key coal products. That is anthracite coal, coking coal, as well as thermal coal. And anthracite as well as coking coal, that's largely for the ferrochrome, iron, steel mill companies, whereas thermal coal is in the power generation sector. To date, we have been able to acquire and explore various resources and reserves where the company has over 7.4 billion tons of coal reserves and resources. We've got 400 million tons of proven reserves in Zimbabwe. We have over 60 million tons of proven reserves of anthracite coal in northern Natal in South Africa. And the Zimbabwe part is open castable, so it puts us really at the low cost curve. And in South Africa, particularly in the anthracite area as well, we would be regarded as a low cost producer.
So these are huge reserves, and as you say, you're a low-cost producer.
Yeah.
But there's been a rediscovery of coal as an energy source with carbon capture technology and so on. People are seeing its potential as a cleaner source.
Indeed, I think the research that has been going into really how to burn coal cleaner. 10 years ago, coal really was at the bottom of the rank. There was more talk about cleaner sources of energy, particularly in the uranium, wind power, and all of that. But if we look at today where we are in terms of the growth in the energy sector, particularly the power generation, when we look in terms of the industrialization, the various steel mills, the growth in the iron ore sector, the copper mining sectors, we see coal still, because it is abundant energy source, still leading with more than 60% of the steel mills that are there today still using coal as a reductant. And therefore we believe that in the long term, coal will continue to be the energy source of choice. And I would say that it will account for more than 50% of, particularly in the power generation sector.
Let's look ahead to the IPO you're planning for Hong Kong. What will that mean for Lonto?
Well, it will bring about really a very exciting growth phase into the company, whereby we will be able to attract the large-scale capital to develop the company into being a 10 million tons plus a year producer of coking coal as well as thermal coal. And at the same time, it will unlock, I think, a lot of opportunities whereby we will be able to invest directly using the capital raised from the IPO in infrastructure, particularly rail as well as port. The reserves and resources that we have, over 7 billion tons, that has to be predicated on the backbone of a robust infrastructure. And private sector needs to play a more prominent role in the development of infrastructure, not only rely on parastate companies that to date, particularly in Southern Africa, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, has been the case. So as we see more private sector getting in, we certainly will be one of the key private sector players in the infrastructure, rail, port, logistics. And the IPO will most certainly enable us to be able to raise enough capital to be a prominent player. We've got the reserves. We know how to mine those reserves. We know the cost of mining those reserves. So the key strategy going forward is to ensure that we can be able to put those products into the market.
Tshepo Kgadima, thank you.
Thank you very much.